It's time for another double shot. I've been thinking about purchasing a car. I've been without a car for about 5-ish years, maybe a little bit longer. And I'm doing more things on the east side.
I was laughing at you. Why don't you have a car?
I haven't had a car because I haven't really needed a car. But now I've got a dog, which I don't think I told you. About a year ago, I adopted a dog named D'Artagnan.
First time
His
hearing
little
of it.
face just popped up in the screen. Because, I like to keep some of these things to myself. But sometimes I would like to take him to a dog park that's not within, just walking distance. And so I've been looking at
Can you Uber with a
car.
dog?
I think you can for some Ubers. You have to put like a special,
a
you
dog
got to
paw.
look for a specific kind of car that allows it.
Sure.
But that seems like a hassle and probably expensive. So I was looking at cars and I said, oh, you know what? Let me just make sure that there's parking in my building, like spots available. So I reached out and say, hey, is there any parking spots available? And by the way, what's the price? Now I knew in Seattle, parking is expensive in apartment complexes. I knew that going in. In my head, I had a certain price that I'd be willing to go up to. When the person told me in the leasing office how much parking was per month, I could not help but respond by punching them right in the face.
How much was it?
$335 a month.
For a parking
For
spot?
a parking spot. Doesn't come with like a
moly.
masseur. It doesn't come with a cappuccino every morning when you get the car. No, it's just a normal spot. $335. I lost it.
That's insane. That's more than I paid to moor my boat. That's insane.
It's more than a car payment.
That's
depending
for
on
a
the car,
tiny
but
little
for a
parking spot.
And, the reason why they're able to do that is because in their infinite wisdom over at the Seattle City Council and the mayor's office, they decided to pass a bunch of regulations that basically say that apartment complexes don't have to build in enough parking for the units in the complex.
Bad deal.
Thus, they do the bare minimum.
Yeah.
And then it creates this supply-demand problem that allows them to just jack up the rates. $335. So now I'm wondering if I even want to get a car, because now I'm looking in some of the parking lots around me, because I'm not going to drive it every single day, probably only on weekends for the most part.
Yeah, but if it's not in a secure spot where you feel confident,
no, I
then
want
it's
it
gonna
in a
get
secure
busted
spot.
into.
I want to get it into a secured lot. That's what I'm looking at, like other, not apartment buildings, but businesses, groceries, things like that.
Sure.
$335. That is absolutely insane. And
It's almost
I refuse to pay that.
It's almost like they don't want you to have a car.
Weird how that works.
Isn't that
They would rather
strange?
push you onto a bus where you're likely to get stabbed to death.
Or shot, or just generally have to sit around people who...
Don't be there's no reason for hyperbole. Usually they use knives, not guns, on buses. Now, if you want to get shot, you hang out outside of the
people
bus.
occasionally get... Oh, no, I'm sorry. I'm thinking of Link Light Rail. My bad.
Yeah. Hello. This is King County Metro.
My bad.
Where you get a contact high from the fentanyl being smoked and then get stabbed.
Yeah.
Link Light Rail, okay, I'll go with you on that one.
Occasionally you get shot.
Yeah, every so often. But otherwise, it's a wonderful experience, and I don't know
It's tough,
why
man.
anyone chooses not to take transit.
$335 a month is insane. Good luck.
Good luck indeed. We'll see you tomorrow. Hey, it's Jason Rantz here with Scott Rarucka from Legacy Group Capital. He's their CEO. So let's talk about someone who wants to invest in real estate. They don't quite know where to go, what to do, where to start, but they do know, obviously, that right now the market is really, really hot. So you're the place to do it. How do you help?
Yeah. So how we help is, we've been investing in the greater Seattle area for over 20 years, and we have a historical track record that is we're super proud of. Double-digit returns over time with no investor losses. And if you can find somebody else out there that's done that, you should probably talk to them. And how we really do it is we're lending on real estate, and we're also acquiring real estate and building it and developing it. All those things come out of a fund that people invest into. So there's lending and there's acquisition. And then we share in profits with all of our investors on both those activities. Jason, most people can't do that on their own. They're not going to go develop properties. They're not going to go be a bank and lend money. But they can jump in with us and they can be that developer and they can be that lender, but it's underneath our umbrella with a 20-year track record that's unparalleled to anything that you'll find out there. We've been told that we're one of the best kept secrets in the Pacific Northwest.
I don't want it to be a secret. I want everyone to know just about what it is you do. The Legacy Group Capital family of funds offer short-term 90-day investments at 7%. Longer-term investments They've averaged double-digit returns. Just go to legacyg.com.